Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing night here at the All American Racing Series, where we are going to tackle this Road Atlanta track. And this is going to be a nice and dark one. As you can see, going over the track tonight, we are going to have some headlights on, and we've got 15 drivers ready to bring you some action tonight. So looks like our SDK is deciding not to work right this second. Let's see if we can reload that for everyone and see if that's going to pop back up. It has been a continual issue for us most of the night tonight, so we might try to shut that down and start it back. But what we're going to do is we are going to bring you a little bit of some rules and where we are sitting in the points tonight. So let me see if I can pull that up, and hopefully that's going to show up here on your screen. Folks, if you are out there, please let me know if you are able to see any of the timing towers or the qualifying that we have. It does look like SDK has had some problems most of the night tonight, so we might have to reset that and try to bring you some more action. So right now, as you can see in the points, you can see that on the screen. Blake Scott been dominating this this series so far this year. He has a stranglehold here on first place. Jeff Perchowski, with a fantastic run last week, bumps himself back up to second place. Kurt in third. Mark Scott with a nice win is going to propel himself up to fourth with max points there at 420. Miles is going to be fifth. Trevor O'Neill in sixth. Seventh is going to be Nicholas Cody, and then Daniel Sheffer is going to be in eighth. Wade Moskowitz is in ninth. Mark Samanchik is going to round out your top 10, folks. So there you have it so far. And do not look now, but we only have 3 races left. So as it stands right now, we've got Road Atlanta, then we're going to VIR, and we're going to wind up here at Watkins Glen. But we've got some exciting things to cover with you tonight. We're going to talk about next season. We've got some great announcements there, as I believe that Cody is starting to work on narrowing down the schedule. We will have more dates, times, and information for you as the weeks go along. But again, let's strap in, settle in, and see if we can get this SDK working for all of you folks. So we're going to try to do this and see if we can hide the points. And it does look like we are still going to struggle to grab that STK. So if everybody will just stay with us, we're going to play a little commercial real quick and see if we can find out what's going on with the STK. Hang on just a second, folks. All right, folks, we're going to get back here. It does look like SDK is having some issues, so we're going to have to do this thing kind of old school for you. We'll keep trying to reset this thing as we go live. A lot of this is going to be just off of me, kind of. I'll have my battle box up. I will have the timing tower up for you, you all. If this thing pops up, and hopefully it will. If not, then I will certainly let you all know exactly what's going on here, as it does look like SDK had a major update today, and they could be having some issues. So does look like we've got a couple of minutes. I'm going to run down your qualifying order. Blake Scott, your points leader tonight, he is going to be starting in the #1 position. Cody Williams is going to be in second, qualifying second. Mark Scott's going to be in third. Wade Moskowitz is going to be in fourth. And it does look like we might have some drivers out here on the track. So let's see if we can get to them now as we continue to have a little bit of issues. And I will continue to reset this for you as the night goes along to hopefully see if this is going to pop up for you all. It does look like it's showing on my screen. But you are unable to see it, so I do apologize about that. But we will keep you informed on what's going on as we go throughout the night. And we're going to try to reset this just one more time. We'll continue to do that on throughout as we go through. You can see the not found in the top left-hand corner as we are broadcasting. So not certain what has happened to SDK. But we will try to bring you all the action anyway, and we will talk through the intervals and where everybody stands in the positions that they run in, and we might even try to do this a little bit of old school and bring up the old iRacing relative. But as you can see, we're going to run back down through this with just one more time. Blake Scott is going to be your pole sitter. On the outside left-hand side of him is going to be Josh Perrin. Mark Scott's going to be in third. Trevor O'Neill is going to be in fourth. Miles in fifth. Manuel is going to be sixth. Rory Stumpf, good to have him back, is going to be a seventh. Angel is going to be starting behind him. Bob Carroll, Jeff Perchowski, Leroy, Daniel Sheffer. It does look like Cody and Wade are going to not be able to make the field so far tonight. Wade, one of your drivers that is really up there in the points, needs a good run tonight, so he might just be starting from the pits to get himself in a better position for the end of this race. We're going to try to reset this one more time for you to see if this will happen before we go green, and it does not look like it's going to be able to happen. As you can see, those two Aerokinetics Mustangs are going to be side by side. Blake and Mark once again starting on that front row. Mark with a fantastic drive last week at Roval. Really great performances. Him and Blake battle for the better part of 45 minutes. You can see that pace car is now going to duck in. Here we go, round 10 at Atlanta. Hard on the gas. Blake is going to take off to an early lead. He's going to have that nice right-hand insider line. Mark's going to hang tough there on the outside. Miles not too far behind, as it looks like, whoa, Mark is going to jump in. Miles right behind him. Josh Perrin not going anywhere in fourth position, really close to them. Trevor O'Neill is in fifth. Manuel in sixth. As it looks like Blake is going to get out to an early lead. That is half a tenth or half a second, 5/10 ahead of second place of Mark Scott. It looks like Miles is going to have a slight blinking issue. Blake out to a nice lead right now. This battle for the second position still hot, as Miles all over the back end of Mark Scott, wanting to make that pass early until those two Mustangs really get some heat in the tires. He's going to cross him over now to the bottom left-hand side. Little bit of a dive here. Miles side by side with Mark. Oh, Mark is going to push him a little wide. Miles is off the track. That's going to give way to Josh. Josh is now going to take over the third position. And you can see another battle back here in the back as Manuel fighting with Trevor, trying to snag that 5th spot. Trevor with a better preferred line. Manuel's going to kind of hang back just a little bit, give Trevor that line. So put Trevor O'Neill up to 5th. He is going to be right behind Miles, which Miles now in 4th, battling for that 2nd position mere laps ago. Oh, we've got one hard into the wall. That's Leroy Koblenz. Let's go back and take a look. Leroy under braking is just going to get sideways, and it does look like he was able to save that. I don't believe that was the wreck that we were thinking of. That might be Jeff Perchowski. Let's take a look at Jeff. And there you see him just broken already. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Jeff. Just getting those right sides off into the sand, and there you have it. The back end is completely gone on that car. Jeff Perchowski having to take that out to the pits. Trevor O'Neill showing with an off track. There's Trevor just missing that braking zone. Looks like he was able to hop back on track. That is going to be a slowdown for that driver. And we're going to go right back up here to the front, as it does look like right now Blake Scott putting his stamp on this race early and often. 3 laps in, already up to a 1.9 second lead over his father, Mark Scott. Jeff Perrin not too far behind, but now here is Miles. Miles really on the back end of Josh, starting to work that back end. It looks like we had another driver with a crossover crash behind these drivers. We'll take a look. It does show Bob Carroll as being off track. Let's have a look at Bob. And there you have it. Bob just kind of stuck in that off track, stuck up against that wall, and he is going to take that car to the pits. We're going to go back up here as now Josh Perrin making that pass for the 3rd position. This is the best run that Josh has had so far this season. And really looking at the back end of Mark Scott's car now, as Blake again is going to push us out to a 2.1 second lead. We do have a nice battle back here between Noah Zimmerman and Rory. Rory back in action tonight, trying to hold off Noah. That green Porsche really able to take these S's pretty quickly. That's going to put Wade really on the back bumper of Noah now, as now this has become a 3-car battle. Rory going to start to gap Noah just a little. Wade now on the back end of this machine, trying to get this Porsche up into a normal position of a top 5 running, which is where we normally see that Porsche running. It does look like he is going to get a great draft down this straightaway. This is going to be your longest straightaway here on this backstretch at Road Atlanta. This is going to lend way to Wade being able to make a nice run on the inside of Noah coming down this hill. And there you can see him poking to the left-hand side. He's going to be able to outbrake him and take that position. So put Wade up to 7th spot now. We're going to go back up here as this 2nd, 3rd, and 4th has not quite been figured out yet. Josh still putting some pressure on the back end of Mark, but Miles on the back end of him. As now it looks like maybe Trevor O'Neill has found his way further back in the pack. That driver was up pressuring Miles for that 4th position, now back into 9th. You see those drivers really taking that left-hander, running right off of the track. That is not an off track for these drivers, so they are able to make that to get a little bit of time. As now you can see this draft line starting to snake down that long backstretch before this hard left-hander here at Road Atlanta. Hard braking by Mark Scott. Josh Perrin not too far behind. Miles right behind Josh. As now we clip over 6.5 minutes, almost 7 minutes into this race. I'm going to give you a rundown. Again, we will say this a few times tonight, but apologize that SDK is not showing up for you folks, but I'm going to give you where they currently run, and that is Blake Scott is going to be your leader right now, up 2.2 seconds over Mark Scott in second. Josh Perrin, we are following him around right now, is going to be in third position. Miles Gilsinger's in fourth. Manuel up to fifth. A fantastic run for him, as you can see him now starting to poke in to our screen. Sixth is going to be Rory. Wade Moskowitz in seventh. Noah Zimmerman in eighth. Trevor O'Neill is in ninth. Cody Williams out. Starting in the pits is going to be up to 10th. Leroy Koblenz is in 11th. Daniel Sheffer in 12th. Angel Rodriguez in 13th. Jeff Perchowski with that earlier wreck is in 14th. Bob Carroll is going to be out in the hauler there in 15th. And here you go, Trevor O'Neill back on the march heading forward. Dive into the left-hand side of Noah Zimmerman. Noah going to give that line up as well. He should. Fantastic job by both of those drivers. Put that driver of Trevor O'Neill up yet another position. Now it does look like Cody is going to try to follow him. He is going to get that pass done. Now put Cody up to 9th place. Cody really able to navigate those S's very nicely. Let's see if we can go on board with Cody as he continues to put pressure now on Trevor O'Neill. Trevor making that pass on Noah just a half a lap ago. Now looking at some pressure coming from Cody. And this is going to lend you to a nice passing scenario here very soon. Cody's going to be able to get into that draft. I don't know if he's going to be close enough to make that dive to the left-hand side of Trevor. This is your closest battle on the field. Blake Scott still up 2.3 seconds on Mark Scott. Josh Perrin about a second behind Mark. Miles about a second behind him. So those top four really spaced out quite a bit. Cody looking to make his way forward. As you can see, that blue and orange sim motion machine starting to close in on the back of Trevor. Trevor really turning some fantastic lap times. His last lap, a 21.273, but Cody just a bit faster at a 20.172, so about a second faster. Your leader in Blake Scott now running 119.0s, Mark at 119.1, so those two drivers really right there. Josh with a fantastic 119.2. So those top four drivers, Blake, Mark, Josh, and Miles, turning sub 120 laps, almost breaking into the 118s. As these drivers back here in the 120s losing a couple of seconds a lap, but they are working their way forward nonetheless. Trevor O'Neill starting to eye Rory Stumpf right now. As you see, Roy is just now disappearing in that right-hand turn for the front stretch. Trevor coming out of that turn. We are now 11 minutes into this race that is scheduled for 60 minutes, 11 minutes of the 1 hour. Not able to bring you any timing towers tonight, but this is going to be lap 9. Blake still your leader now by 2.5 seconds. This will be your closest battle here on the track. All of these drivers will have to pit, and they all have one fast repair. Jeff Perchowski having to come in a little earlier, your second place driver in points, having a head-on collision into the tire barriers, forcing him to come down pit road early. He is going to have to two-stop this race. And there you can see that really down that he is going to get a fantastic run. Cody Williams really on the back end of Trevor now, starting to put a lot of pressure on him. He was really able to manage that elevation change nicely as he come down that hill with a great run off of that turn. Coming into these S's, you've got this Acura of Trevor O'Neill and the Audi of Cody Williams fighting over this 8th place, but both of those drivers starting to track down Rory, as this is going to be a three-way battle here for 7th. Cody's going to back off just a little bit. That's going to get Trevor some more momentum. And it looks like he is going to be close enough now to pick up the draft of this green Porsche. And he got a much better exit than Rory. I think you're going to see him able to pull up and pull to the left-hand side of Rory coming down this straightaway. And it looks like he's not going to be able to get that done quite yet under heavy braking, taking a left-hand turn. Trevor O'Neill starting to look and eye that 7th place. This driver up to 5th earlier on in this race. Made some form of mistake that we did not see. It looks like Rory is going to just pull over and let this faster driver go by. What great sportsmanship by Rory. And he is going to let and Trevor's now is going to get it off track. I believe Rory pulling over kind of put him off his rhythm. That is going to pull Cody Williams right back to the back bumper of this driver. Again, as we go down this, Alex, appreciate you being in chat. Says Trevor, and about 3 hearts. Oh, and Trevor again is going to be off track, getting onto that rumble strip, getting a little bit loose. Broadcaster's curse coming back to bite Trevor right now, but we certainly appreciate you joining in and giving a shout out here in the chat. We do apologize once again for the SDK not being able to show up tonight. We will do our best to present everything that's going on around the track. As I will tell you, Blake Scott still your leader as this settles down just a little bit. However, he turned a 19-1 last lap to Mark Scott's, as you can see him right there in a 19-4. So a little bit quicker than what Mark was, but the lap before he gave up about half a second to Mark. Let's go back and take a look at Wade. It looks like Wade was able to make a pass for that 5th spot. Manuel just kind of conceding that position, knowing Wade was faster. Wade able to get that Porsche coming through the field, now in 5th position. Nice job by him. Again, your leader has led the majority of the laps so far this season. Blake Scott out to a 2.5 second lead over Mark Scott. Mark up to about that same type of gap to your 3rd place driver. Yeah, in the chat, Alex saying, I love watching Trevor and the guys race every week. I look forward to it. Yeah, it is one of my favorite nights of the week is watching these drivers here at the All-American Racing Series take on these tracks. We've had wet rain. We have had wet track conditions. We have had nighttime. We have had daytime in hot conditions where the track is slick. These drivers have had to navigate everything. And again, just to do a rundown for this series, this is all American racetracks here in season 1. And these drivers have put on one heck of a show. Blake obviously being your dominant driver so far this year. Mark being right there with him in a close second position, being bit by every tragedy that you can think of on the iRacing sim. Mark had that happen so far this season, but he is starting to come back. We've had great drives by Jeff Perchowski. Every single driver, Mark Samanchik, who is not out here on the track tonight, has been able to make some fantastic drives through the field. Trevor O'Neill, Miles Gilsinger in the rain at Indy, fantastic win. So we have had some drama, but I can tell you one thing about this series. All of these drivers really enjoy it. They've had a fantastic time. Not only have I had a great time broadcasting it, but they've had a fantastic time driving it. Every one of these drivers really appreciative, respectful out here on the track, and it has been a blast to call. Hey, Alex, I appreciate that, saying you're the best broadcaster. I don't know if I'm the best broadcaster, but I certainly have enjoyed calling it, and I hate that I have not been able to show you any timing towers tonight, so we're just going to try to talk through it as we are now 18 minutes into this race of 60 minutes. Blake Scott, again, your leader, up 2.5 seconds over Mark Scott. That last lap, Mark just a little quicker, about 0.2 faster than Blake. So he is starting to chip back away at that lead. Josh Perrin with the drive of so far of this season. Josh up to third position in that podium spot, doing a fantastic job. Remember, folks, everybody has to come down and pit. Miles Gilsinger is your fourth place driver. Wade Moskowitz making that pass just a little earlier on manual in fifth. That driver really fantastic, steady all season long. Manual, this will be one of his better drives so far this season, sitting there in sixth. Cody Williams, starting, I believe, in the pits, has been able to not only pass Trevor, but Rory and Noah, put him up to seventh. This is your league owner here, deciding to had a fantastic qualifying run, took an EOL, started in the pits, worked his way up to seventh now. Kathy in the chat saying, nice start, Scott Racing. Love watching my two drivers stay steady. Yeah, and they are doing that, Kathy. What a great job by Mark last week, capturing that win at the Roval. I'm sure that was a huge relief off of him finally being able to break through this season. And then, of course, Blake really being the star of the show so far this year in the amount of wins. I believe he has 7 wins so far on this season. So great job by both of those Scott drivers. Cody now with a pretty healthy lead back to Trevor. Trevor 5.5 seconds back. But this is your closest battle here, as now you can see Cody really starting to work on the back end of manual. This Adrenaline Racing Sim Motion Audi, the only Audi that we have here on the field. Remember, earlier in the season, these drivers had to pick the car that they were going to stick with, so they cannot change cars week to week. Whatever you claim is the car you had to run all season long. But I believe we're going to have a few changes. I'm not sure if that's going to change next season, but what will change are going to be the tracks. So it looks like Cody and his team have really put their minds together, and there will be a season 2, and it will be about a 4-week hiatus between season 1 and season 2. But season 2 is coming here on the All-American Racing Series, so we can't wait for that to happen. They are starting to trim down some of those tracks, and we'll have a good schedule for you, hopefully before the end of this season, so that everyone can take a look at it. But you're going to see a lot of the same drivers. From my understanding, this group of 12 to 15 drivers will be back next year. We'll bring some fresh drivers in to give some competition to all of these drivers, and this is going to be one heck of a season. Not only are we going to do another GT3 season, but the All-American Racing Series is not only kicking around, but in the final details of bringing you an oval series that's going to be a late model stock on short tracks around this country. So again, that is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be, I believe, on Wednesday nights, and I will get you more details for that. But look for this All-American Racing Series to go oval racing as well, as you'll see a lot of these GT3 drivers taking on that late model stock, that loose short track car, and trying to get around some of these short tracks. So that's going to be some exciting information for you folks as we get ready for the next season here at the All-American Racing Series. This again, now down to 0.3 of a second, is the closest. We do have another great battle here as Angel and Jeff Perchowski are going to be fighting over this 13th and 14th position. Angel right on the back end of Jeff. Jeff, if you do not remember earlier on in this race, getting sideways and crashing into the tire barrier, I believe creating some pretty massive front end damage and maybe even some engine damage, having to come down, take that fast repair, come back out. He is your second place in points driver. So Jeff, needing a great finish, has got his work cut out for him tonight. Let's go back through your field. Blake Scott, as you can see now, Trevor coming out of the pits. Blake Scott still your leader. Now that lead down, however, to 1.8 seconds. So Kathy Scott there in chat. Kathy, this lead is starting to shrink. Mark starting to close back into the rear end of Blake. We could have another replay of what we did last week where Blake and Mark tied in for about 30, 45 minutes out here on this track. Mark, again, your second place driver. He is about 1.8 seconds behind your leader. Josh Perrin, with his best drive so far this season, he is about 7 seconds behind, almost 8 seconds behind your second place driver. So the Scots really driving away with this first and second position, but he is kind of in no man's land. You can see him about 8 seconds behind the second place driver, but over 10 seconds behind your fourth place. And that's going to be Wade Moskowitz. Cody Williams is going to be in your fifth position. And he is now, after getting by manual, about 5.5 seconds behind Wade. So this March for him has really started to move forward, as he is now in your top 5. And he has enough time and enough opportunity, as we are not quite halfway through this race here with 25 minutes in of the hour. I believe he has time to catch your third and fourth place driver. So put him in fifth as these drivers are going to go through. Josh Perrin now in the pits. Wade Moskowitz is going to come into the pit. So your pit stop starting now, folks, at 25 minutes in. So these drivers might have to two-stop this race. Yeah, Kathy said, wouldn't that be fun? It would definitely be fun. And we're going to see if we can go back up here and take a look. Again, 1.8 seconds. You can see Blake coming down this hill. Mark, you can see the headlights there as he just pokes into that screen. Last lap. And it does look like now Blake Scott coming into pit lane. Mark is going to follow him. Blake, just a little bit of tire rub there on the right-hand corner of that quarter panel. Mark is going to come in right behind him. So it does look like these drivers having to come in prior to halfway in this race, 25 minutes in. Let's see if these drivers are going to take tires or if this is going to be fuel only. It does look like Mark is up on the jack, so he is going to take 4 tires. That is going to put your league owner, Cody Williams, now in first place, trying to make it. If he can get this thing about 4.5 minutes, so just a few laps further, he would be able to get this thing in one stop. I don't believe that's going to be able to happen, as now you can see Blake Scott is now exiting the pits. Mark Scott exiting the pits. Yeah, Kathy said Mark and his dad always chase these other in their Porsches. Kathy, I hope you were listening last week when we discussed and I had talked to Mark and Blake both about Mark's dad and Blake's grandfather, passing away and the 3 generations. And I know he would have been very happy to see that battle that they had there at Roval last week. It's just one of those things where you want to just save that replay, and it's just something you can all go back and look back on and really appreciate, because I know we appreciated the heck out of calling it. Noah Zimmerman showing an off track. Let's see what happened to Noah. Oh, and he's going to try to check up just a little bit to give Miles a little bit of room. Had to go offline. No damage there. Trevor O'Neill showing an off track. Oh, yeah, Trevor just under braking, just missing that braking zone. Oh, and he is able to keep it off of those tire barriers. I thought for certain he was going to make some head-on collision. He did not. He is now back on track. So, again, Cody Williams, still your leader right now. He is 27 minutes in, so we are trying to keep track of where we're at here for your time. Blake and Mark Scott dominating this race early on. Cody Williams making his way back through the field, now trying to play the fuel mileage game as this Audi is going to come to the start-finish line. And if he does not go down pits now, I do believe he will make this race to halfway before he has to come down in pits. We are now 28 minutes into the 1 hour time frame. And it does look like he is going to stay out. Let's see what happens here. And you can see those drivers exiting pit road. It does look like Cody Williams able to stay out on the track. I do believe that is going to put him through halfway in this race. So this might boil down to a fuel-saving race, as now Cody Williams still out on track. He will be able to cut this race in half. Now, the difference is going to be how long does it take Blake? How long does it take Mark to come in, as they are now only 22 seconds behind Cody? How long will it take them to come in and get a splash and go if they cannot get this thing done in one stop? Caroline in the chat say, go Scott's very talented family. Hey, John, again, I'm back. Yeah, it's good to see you back, Caroline. We certainly appreciate it. They are doing what they normally do, which is pace this field here. Blake and Mark having to come in and get their pit stops done with about 25 minutes into this 1 hour. Now you can see Cody Williams, your leader, coming down, choosing to come down pit road at 29:40. So I know you all cannot see the timing towers. I do apologize about that. Once again, we will go to commercial here shortly. I wanted to run everyone through these pit cycles, but you cannot see that. But we are now halfway through this 1 hour. Blake and Mark will take back over this lead after Cody comes in. The big question here is, does Blake and Mark, as they now go by Cody, will they have to come in one more time? If they do, I would look to Cody for your race winner here as he saves some fuel. If they do not, and they can go to distance, and they just decided to short pit just a little bit, then these are going to be your two drivers that are going to be fighting for the win. Is now Kathy and Caroline out there rooting the Scots on. What was a 2-second lead, now only down to 0.8 of a second. Those headlights right behind Blake is your second place driver of Mark Scott. And just like last week at the Roval, we are now going to start having a heavyweight fight. As you can see, Mark now flashing a light to Blake saying, hey, here I am. And the fight is on. Hey, Frost there in the chat saying rooting for Perrin. Let me tell you something. Josh is driving the race of his life right now. He is now right behind Miles Gilsinger. He was there in third position. Something happened just a little while ago, maybe a slower pit stop, but it does look like we've got Rory as a crash. Let's go back and take a look at Rory. Oh, and he is going to make hard contact. It looks like who it was, that Manuel. Oh, Manuel was such a great run. Both of those drivers getting severe damage and having to take those to the pit. Terrible luck for those drivers, but Josh doing a fantastic job for us so far tonight. Was running third before they went into the pits. He has a fast ride, knows how to get around this track, and he is certainly eyeballing a podium finish here as he looks to track down that Acura of Miles. Let's go back up here up front. We are going to try to take a commercial break so we can attempt to fix these towers for all of you that are watching, but I don't want to leave this race as now Blake and Mark starting to come closer together. 32 minutes into this 1 hour race, and the fight is on. We have seen this so many times so far this season, and here we are again. Mark looks like he's doing a fantastic job on entry, and we saw that at the Roval. Mark able to drive that car in pretty hard. Blake liking to slow that car down on entry and really power off hard. These two drivers having two different driving styles, but being so similar in lap times all season long. I'll tell you, it takes a lot of time and effort to get this fast and consistent. Both of these drivers nailing that all season long. As you can see now, Blake taking that really wide exit out of that left-hander. That is not an off-track. You will do that quite often there at Road Atlanta. This is a very difficult, higher braking zone. You want to make sure that that run is a strong run on the exit of that turn. If not, it can really kill you down this long straightaway. We are staying with you here. There is a fight battle brewing here for the 9th position as Daniel Sheffer starting to narrow in on Noah Zimmerman. We'll keep an eye on that as we go around, but it does look like Josh now looking on the rear end of Miles. This is going to be for a podium position. So Frost out there in chat, your driver starting to track down the 3rd place of Miles. Let's see if we can go on board with Josh. Take a look and see what he is seeing. As you can see, that driver really trying to use every inch of this track that he possibly can. I've talked to Josh several times, and I will tell you, he races with a very calm demeanor. He's not going to be in a big hurry to get this done. And for Miles, that should worry Miles because you know, Josh is going to be very methodical. As you can see him starting to narrow in. He is in that draft of Miles. I just do not believe Josh is going to overdrive this, trying to make this pass happen. Now just closer and closer he comes. And if he can get a good exit here, this might be a fantastic opportunity for him to try to make this pass. Let's go back up front as now this race is not over. These two Scott drivers starting to narrow in. Mark Scott starting to really work on the back bumper of Blake now. This was kind of in the reverse at the Roval where Blake working on the back end of Mark. This is now opposite. Mark working on the back end of Blake, finding his way around this track. Only 0.3 of a second separates these two drivers for 1st and 2nd position. We are not going to go to commercial. I do know that I owe you a reset here on the towers, but this race is too good to leave. I want everybody to see this as, again, you can see Blake just getting those right sides off of that rumble strip, which is absolutely fine. That's what you want to do to get maximum exit speed. It does look like Blake is able to spread this out just a little bit. as that battle for third position is going to get tighter. Noah Zimmerman not that far away from Leroy Koblenz as well. So Noah is going to be in the car that we're highlighting there. He is in 9th. Leroy is in 8th. This race only half a second away. And we're trying to bring you all the action as, again, we go back here. Josh Perrin on the rear end of Miles Gilsinger. Miles, earlier in the season, your winner there at Indy in the rain, has had some fantastic runs. I believe he was one of your podium drivers last week. Looking for that again as Josh Perrin, looking for his first podium of the season, has this car dialed in at this track and is all over Miles for this spot. Noah now only a 10th away from Leroy for that 8th position. You can see Miles cutting that chicane off. Going through these S's. Oh, Miles is going to get loose. He's going to overshoot that turn. That's going to give Josh just what he needs. He's going to be on the outside of Miles. He's going to get that pass done. Josh flashing his light saying, thank you, I appreciate you staying in your line there as you saw that you had made that mistake. But now Josh going to have to check out on Miles. Miles will have a good run here down this backstretch. He has made that pass happen. Let's see if Miles is going to do something crazy here on this hard braking zone with this left-hander. It looks like he's going to try to undercut him, and there he goes. Josh going to let him go by, and we are going to reset. As we said before, Josh really a calm driver there behind the wheel, not going to overdrive that car. Miles trying to get himself back out. This is a podium position. This is your opportunity for an interview. So these drivers are going to fight hard, tooth and nail for everything. That race up front now still at 0.8 of a second. So you're not missing anything up front right now. Blake Scott still your leader, up by 0.8 of a second over Mark. This is your closest battle. Actually, let's go back here now. It does look like Noah was able to get by Leroy Koblenz. Let's go back and take a look at that pass. We don't want to we want to bring you every pass that we possibly can. And you can see Leroy's on that inside line. Noah's going to be on the outside. Leroy's going to just concede that position and allow Noah to take that over and move on. Let's go back up front as now these two drivers for first and second. Blake Scott, your leader. Mark Scott running in second, starting to battle again as this thing starts to accordion. And oh my goodness, it looks like we've got a crash register for Josh. Going after this third place, he's going to dive down to the bottom. Oh, both of them are going to be taken out. Miles as well. Oh my goodness, and that might pave the way for Wade to get himself into this podium position as those two drivers fighting over a spot, making contact, going into that hard left-hander. Josh and Miles getting together. I told you that podium position is important for every one of these drivers. They're going to try to do what they can to make that thing happen. So put Wade Moskowitz in P4. Josh all the way back now to 5th. He is catching your P4 position, but I will keep that up to date as we stay on this lead battle. We are now, folks, 41 minutes into 1 hour left here, or 1 hour of this race, sorry. So we got about 19 minutes to go. Blake just being calm and collected behind the wheel. He's going to run up here on Manuel as a lap car. Manuel just going to pull over and let him go by. Very intelligent, smart thing to do. Great racecraft by Manuel, allowing these two drivers to fight it out. Let's go back and take a look. Josh now trying to make his way back up. Now, he has plenty of time. He has about 18 and a half minutes left in this race, and you can see your third place of Miles right in front of him. So if he can make this pass and get by him quickly, but don't look now. This driver that has come from the pits tried to work his way back up. He now might be eyeballing the ability to catch a podium position as Cody working his way back up, now only 2 seconds behind Josh Perrin, who is now fighting with Wade Moskowitz. And Josh trying to make that turn, not able to get that pass done on Wade, having to fall back just a little bit. That is going to allow Cody to gain 1 second on these two drivers as they're battling with each other. Last lap, Blake Scott at a 4.63, Mark Scott at a 4.94. So both of those drivers matching the pace of each other. Blake now up by 1.3 seconds over Mark. So that battle for the lead cooled down for just a second. Again, this is your closest battle here on the racetrack. Oh, this is going to heat up to be an all-time race. As you can see, Josh now trying to work his way back up. He wants another shot at Miles that is only about a few seconds in front of him. Wade stands in his way. Wade trying to remain in fourth. You've got Cody breathing down his neck. Now that gap to first. Blake Scott up 2.3 seconds. As he puts down a 1:19.0 to Mark's 1:19.4. So picking up almost half a second just in a single lap. So Caroline and Kathy, it looks like Blake's starting to pull away here late as we now are down to about 16 minutes to go in this race. We are not going to cut to a commercial. We are going to ride this thing through. I do apologize once again for the timing towers not being up, but this racing is really too spicy for us to go away and not bring you the best action that we can bring you here on the American Racing Network. Is now Josh starting to put more and more pressure on Wade. Wade doing an amazing job just hitting his marks and driving that car just the way that he needs to keep that car out in fourth position. Now Wade is starting to chip away at Miles. Now that gap only at 1.8, which was 2.1 the lap before. Wade turning that up. Now that gap another 10th off of Miles in third position. Another 10th now at 1.6 seconds. Wade really putting the speed into it. Josh right behind him, wanting to get back up there and challenge Miles for third. As I believe Josh with a little bit more pace than Miles had throughout this race. Those two just coming together, a little bit of a door touch, caused both of those drivers to spin sideways. Josh a little slow regaining that momentum. Wade being able to make that pass. Now Josh going to look to the inside. He's not going to be able to make that pass happen, but what he can do now is try to catch this draft, and he is going to be in the catbird seat here as we go into this turn. Will Wade go to the right and try to block, or is he going to block that inside line? And it looks like he's going to try to block the inside line. Josh is going to go to the outside. He is on the right-hand side. They're going to go side by side. Josh is going to overshoot that a little bit and have to slow down. That's going to open the door for Cody Williams now. Cody now sneaking by Josh. Is Josh not able to make that pass on Wade as he protected that inside line? Put Cody up to 5th place. Josh has got to have some frustration behind that wheel, not finding his way around Miles. Now all over the back end of Cody as he's running through these S's much harder than that Audi is able to do. But Cody now going to set his sights on Wade as we are 13 minutes left in this race. Cody battling his way all the way back from starting on pit road. He's going to get an off track there with the left-hand side of that car off track after that rumble strip. That gap to 3rd and Miles sticking at about 1.8, 1.9 for Wade. So Wade not able to really gain on Miles a whole lot at all. Tell you, all of these drivers so respectful of each other. Such a hard race, door to door, trying to come through these turns, trying to find any grip that they can. Josh, unfortunately, having such a fast car and being mired down, not able to get these passes made. He's going to be all over Cody coming down through these S's. Cody able to make that pass as Josh had to check up getting into the gravel. This fight now is on. I'll tell you what, if you like road racing, if you like any kind of racing here on iRacing, you have to love this. This is just one of the most fun series that you can find out there. These drivers so close on speed. That gap now, as we keep an eye on these Scots, is now at 2.73 seconds. 3.7. Something has happened to Mark Scott. Let's go back and take a look. Mark, it looks like he started to settle down. That gap pretty major now. That last lap about a 120, 122 for Mark. So it might have had a little bit of an issue getting around that lap car of Noah Zimmerman. But now Blake, with about 11 minutes to go in this race, just pushing forward at a 4.7 second gap to 2nd place. Cody Williams now starting to eyeball the back end of Wade Moskowitz. Cody wanting more. Your league owner finding a lot of speed here at Road Atlanta. Starting in the pits, has worked his way all the way up to 5th spot. Now looking at 4th, Wade has picked it up quite a bit, as it looks like now what was 1.9 seconds to 3rd place, you can see him in the same frame, and that above him is Miles Gilsinger in 3rd. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th right here on your screen, folks, as we come down to 10 minutes to go in this race. This is a podium position for any of these drivers. Is now Wade going to take that defensive line again, same thing that he did to Josh. That pass might have to come from somewhere else on this track other than there, as Wade finding a great defensive line to set Cody back. Coming down through these S's. I'm going to reset the top 10 for you folks so that you know where everybody is running. Blake Scott, your leader, 5.5 seconds over Mark Scott. Miles Gilsinger is going to be in 3rd. Oh, and now Cody with a fantastic move on the right side of Wade. What a great move. Wade just kind of lulled to sleep there. An unconventional spot to pass. Cody taking that opportunity, diving in front of him. Now that battle's going to be back on between Josh and Wade, but put Cody up to 4th place. He is now going to start eyeing 3rd. Josh is in 6th. Trevor O'Neill is your 7th place driver. Down a lap, Noah Zimmerman in 8th. Leroy Koblenz in 9th. Daniel Sheffer in 10th. Jeff Perchowski, tough night for him. Your 2nd place in points in 11th. Rory Stumpf is going to be in 12th. Manuel in 13th. Manuel with such a great drive earlier on in this race. Angel Rodriguez is in 14th and Bob Carroll in 15th. You can see now Cody on the march. Only 8 minutes to go in this race, fighting for a podium position. Your league owner has not run many races this season. Picking tonight to run one. Snaking his way through this field, now searching for a podium spot, as that gap only a second between him and Miles Gilsinger. Now only 9/10 as Miles giving up 2/10 just in that single turn. Cody starting to separate himself from Wade. Josh right on the rear end of Wade now. Josh fighting for the podium spot just a few laps ago, now in 6th, trying to get his way back into the top 5. 7 minutes to go. Let's see if we can go back up here and take a look at your race leader. We don't get to spend a whole lot of time on Blake Scott because normally he is out there on an island on his own, and what a fantastic drive yet again. Try to notch his 8th victory so far this year. I do believe that is 8. Let me check on that to verify. Blake Scott has 6 wins, so this would be his 7th win so far this season. What a fantastic performance. I believe the other 3 races that he has not won, he has led in. We had a rain race there at Indy. We had Long Beach where he had a spin, and then I believe we had last week there at the Roval. So a fantastic drive so far for this gentleman. All season long, he is putting his stamp on this race yet again, up 6.2 seconds over your 2nd place of Mark Scott. This driver has really shown what it takes to get around these tracks and these American racing tracks. Blake Scott, your leader here. Mark in 2nd. Again, we talked about Mark quite a bit so far, not only this race, but all season long. 3 races to go now, 2 after tonight. 54 minutes into your 1-hour race. Mark, a 2nd clean drive for him. I know he's going to be happy about that, especially when he gets beat by his son. So put this gentleman here in 3rd, and we have missed that pass. Let's see if we can go back and find how Cody was able to make this pass for 3rd. And we did that for Wade. How did he get back? Oh, it looks like Miles had an off track. Oh, he overshot turn 1, as did Josh. You've seen Josh right behind him. Both of those drivers overshooting turn 1. Wow, what a tremendous change of events. Put Miles now back to 6th. Josh is now in 5th. Your driver here that we are highlighting in Cody Williams, looking and eyeing a podium now in 3rd position. Wade Moskowitz, again, just doing what Wade does. You know, it's one of those things where he is so consistent, so fast, does not make a whole lot of mistakes. Great defensive driver, as you saw what he was able to do with Josh and Cody for that long straightaway tonight. Is going to put together another great run for himself, as we all have about 4.5 minutes to go in this race. Again, Josh, just such a dramatic race for Josh. Hard fought, but a ton of pace out of this driver tonight, running here in 5th. Miles in 6th. Miles, just a podium driver just a lap or 2 ago. One off track, and all of a sudden back now to 6th. Trevor O'Neill in 7th. Noah Zimmerman, your 8th place driver. Leroy Koblenz is going to be in 9th. Daniel Sheffer in 10th. We do not see his teammate in Alan Glass here tonight, but Daniel here for every single race so far this season, now running in 10th. Jeff Perchowski in 11th. Rory is going to be in 12th, and Manuel is going to be in 13th. Angel and Bob have taken their cars to pit lane. All right, and as you can tell now, Blake Scott still 6.5 seconds up over second place mark. Cody Williams, your driver in 3rd position. This is going to be the closest battle, but it does look like he's starting to pull away from Wade Moskowitz as his last lap at a 1:19.4, Wade at a 1:19.6. So it does look like Cody pretty securely in this 3rd place as just a few laps to go left in this race for Blake Scott and Mark Scott. Blake starting to come down this long straightaway all by himself. 7-second lead out back. Nothing to worry about. He's just trying to hit his marks, claim his 7th victory for this season. We're going to put about 45 laps on the board tonight. We have 43 in the books, 45 coming up here. We did short pit. It looked like about 25 minutes in, they decided to come down pit road. I am assuming now that these drivers can make it to the end as he goes by pit road. Now at 58 minutes, they will be able to make it the whole way. And just another great drive by this driver here, taking the pole. We can go back. Let me see if I can find out how many poles Blake Scott has won. I do not see. I will look that up. I'll have that information for you next week. But I do believe that that his pole starts are about equal to his wins. We do show Miles with another off track. Let's see if we can go take a look, see what happened to Miles. Same spot, he went off track. That gave up 3rd position, and that's that turn 1 hard entry, hard braking zone there, making that right-hand turn. Here he comes, folks. This is going to be his last lap as he is going to take this white flag. Your driver leading from the pole, led every laps except for those where he has had to get a fuel and a quick pit stop. Cody Williams able to pick up a couple of laps led while these drivers, him and Mark, able to go in and get their pits done and completed. Back out on track. Mark putting up a valiant effort here to track him down, especially after that pit stop, but just too much Blake Scott tonight, finding his way around this track. Such a strong driver here in this Mustang, this All-American Racing Series. He has found a way to navigate these tracks better than anyone else this year. We have 3 races to go, 2 after tonight, and this driver really marking this series as the dominant driver here in season 1 of the All-American Racing Series. Again, we talked a little bit about what's going to happen next season. Really excited to see all of the changes and the adjustments and upgrades that we are going to make here for the next season. Here he comes around this last turn, taking that checkered flag. Let's call it once again for Blake Scott. Here we go. Road Atlanta put 7 wins on the board for this driver so far this season. Mark Scott is going to finish in 3rd. It does look like something has happened to Cody Williams, as now Cody, something happening to him, backing off. Wade Moskowitz now is going to be able to come around And he is going to take your third position as Wade now showing the start finish line. Something happening to Cody. Not sure what happened. And now Wade slowing down. Does look like he was able to pass that start finish line and come home in third position. Josh Perrin now in fourth. Cody Williams is going to be your fifth place driver with Miles Gilsinger in sixth. Trevor O'Neill in seventh, Noah Zimmerman in eighth, and Leroy Koblenz in ninth. Daniel Sheffer rounding out your top 10. So there you have it, folks. We're going to wait for everybody to cross the start-finish line. I will give you the final rundown. As with a change of events, it looks like something happened to Cody Williams, and that's going to give a podium position over to Wade Moskowitz, who is going to finish in third. And we are going to go back here and take a look as we're going to back it up just a little bit so that we can get some pictures of this driver. And that is going to be Love Monday in American Racing. Yeah, I appreciate that. It says, thank you, John, for making it so exciting. I'll tell you what, Kathy, I hope you feel my excitement because I really enjoy watching these races here in the All-American Racing Series. I got to tell you, watching these drivers grow, and we've seen them grow not only Blake and Mark, we've seen a lot of growth out of those two drivers just in this year alone, but all of those drivers that come into here as an intermediate beginner, series really saw a lot of growth, and all of these drivers doing a fantastic job. Kurt, Miles picking up a win this year, Mark being able to break through. There's been so much drama, so many stories that have went on this year, and these two Aerokinetics Mustangs have really been the front runners this season, but there's been so many storylines go through this year. It's just been a blast to call and watch for you all out there. So let's see if we can get some drivers in here and have some conversations with them. And it does look like we have everyone in that waiting room. So we're going to go back to Wade Moskowitz. Again, I would pop this up, but I know you're not going to be able to see it. But we're going to pop this up and have a conversation with Wade. Let's see if we can move him into the broadcaster booth. Wade, this is John Ross in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, man, I appreciate everything you've done so far this season. I really appreciate and love watching you race so fast, always keeping that thing nice and clean. You did that same thing tonight, just methodical, lots of pace. Couple of mistakes there from the drivers in front of you. Opened the spot up for third, but how did your night go? How was it running in the dark? And just walk me through it.
Honestly, the car handled really well. I really came to enjoy this track. And right before the race started, my cat decided to hop on my lap and catch the cord to the internet. So that's why I started from the pits. So starting from the back was a little tough. But like I said, the car handled really well. And I mean, Cody did the same thing, and he just gave me the third position down the back straight. So I give it up to Cody for having a much better drive, coming past me with my little mistakes. So congrats, Cody, for getting official third in my mind. But no, honestly, loved it.
Well, I gotta ask you because we've been talking about this not only on the broadcast but here in chat as we've been chatting with some of the people that have been watching, and one of the things is just the quality of racing so far this season. As now we're going to come into only 2 races left here with the All American Racing Series, and would you say, Wade, when you come into this series from where you are now, I think really the opportunity for mistakes is so minimal in this series. It really teaches you to get up on the wheel and drive. And walk me through the series, how you felt through this thing, as we really haven't had a chance to talk, but you've been just one of the dominant, consistent forces out here on the track this season. Walk me through what your first season has been like here.
It's been an uphill battle a little bit. I kind of started like lower mid pack and then just kind of practice, met up with a couple guys like Miles, Trevor, Rory, Angel, and we just kind of run practices together to just try and really help each other get faster, and that's kind of what's really helped develop my skill to where it is. And this is honestly the first night where I haven't taken myself out because the past few laps of races, I should say, I feel like I've been there, but then I have a lapse of concentration towards the end at like the 45, 50-minute mark, and then take myself out. It's not even somebody else, it's just a mistake that puts me in 7th to 10th position. So it's definitely been a huge growth in that sector of just being able to concentrate for that long and hit your lines consistently, your breaking points, and just keep everything consistent. And that's what I've found really wins the races versus having that one quick lap that gets you in a good position, but not being able to maintain that pace throughout the race. So it's been a long journey, but a very enjoyable one.
Yeah, and you really said it perfectly, and we certainly appreciate that insight that you're giving us here as a driver in this series, because we've seen that and we've seen your growth, and not only just your growth, but Trevor, Miles, Kurt, all of the drivers here that we have, Blake and Mark as well. So, man, it has been a blast watching you this season, and so happy to be able to talk to you tonight, Wade. And we'll turn it over and let you give your shout outs.
Oh, just want to give a shout out and say thanks to you guys for putting on this league at a time that works for me with work and everything. But I really do appreciate the league and helping me grow as a driver. And I just want to give a shout out to like Trevor, Miles, Rory, Angel, Manuel. Those are the guys that have really helped me get to the point that I'm at. So thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Wade. You have a good night.
You too.
And there you have it. There's your third place driver, Wade Moskowitz. Just fantastic opportunity to talk to him tonight. We don't get to do that. We haven't been able to do that to Wade. It's been coming for so long. Such a great opportunity to talk to him and get kind of his insight. So let's see if we can pull up your second place driver here of Mark Scott. And Mark, this is John Ross in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, John. How you doing?
Hey man, I am fantastic. It looked like when you come out of the pits there on that, I was a little concerned because everybody went in with about 35 minutes to go, and I'm like, man, can these drivers make it? But I guess fuel wasn't an issue for you. But you come out really close to Blake, just not able to get it done tonight. But man, first last week, second this week. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put it into a wall or hit the pit wall going into the pit, so I consider that a win.
That's right. Yeah, and we know we've seen that happen to you this season, but so quick. I mean, how did you feel? What changes between day and night? So I'm certain everybody's turned a ton of laps here at this track, but is there a big difference for you between day and night, or do you just know this track so well? Doesn't matter if you got headlights on or it's the peak of day, you know what you're doing.
No, it does mess with you. Your depth perception and your braking points. You know, you're looking for your markers side of the track or on the track, that little line or that little crack that you're going to be braking at. And at night, your lights just don't give you enough room, to see them in time. So you really gotta back it up a little bit and make sure you don't miss your marks and overshoot the turns like I did in qualifying. I ruined my qualifying. But in the race, you just kept getting faster and faster because you kept getting more comfortable with the dark conditions. But it was hard, man. It was super hard. And, Blake drove a heck of a race, and I was close to him coming out of the pits, and I got right on him for a few laps, and then I got to slow down and just ruined it for myself.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to you because I didn't see an off track or anything, but I saw the seconds obviously starting to click away, and I think it went from about 1.2 seconds to a ballooned about 4.5 seconds, and usually you give up that kind of time. It's just so difficult, with the driver like Blake to be able to make that back up. But man, big win last week, getting that monkey off of your back. Second place this week, just a fantastic drive. I thought we were going to have another 30-minute battle, but man, there's always next week. So, Mark, we'll turn it over to you, man. Let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, Cody. All American Racing. This league's been a blast to run this season. All the drivers have just improved dramatically. It's fun to race these guys. Your commentating is the best. I look back and watch it all the time. And then shout out to my family, always to my father, who's watching all of us, my girlfriend, my daughter, her boyfriend, my mom. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And maybe next season we'll get my daughter's boyfriend in this league because he just got his whole rig set up and he's ready to rock and roll. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Well, listen, a lot of exciting things. I previewed it a little bit earlier on in the race on what's going to happen in season 2. So a lot of exciting things that Cody's got planned for the All American Racing Series next year. So yeah, get him out because we'd love to see him out here on the track.
Oh, it'd be a blast. Thanks again, John, for
All right.
everything you do, and thanks, Cody.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mark. All right, there is your second place driver, Mark Scott, and let's see if we can find Blake. It does look like he's in a waiting room, so let's pull him up, have a quick conversation with your race winner here at Road Atlanta. Blake, this is John Ross. You got a copy?
Hey, John.
Hey, man. Well, listen, it might look easy, but I know it's not easy. Another great win. It looked like Mark got really close to you there on that pit stop, but able to pull away. I think he said he got an off track. But how was your race tonight, and how did this track handle it? It looked like the outside temperature was really close to the track temperature, and sometimes that can cause a slick condition. How was it tonight?
Yeah, no, the track actually felt great. The darkness is really what threw it off. I wasn't prepared for that, but this track is really dark. But other than that, no, it was a good race. Yeah, my dad came at me. He had some good pace. Unfortunately, yeah, he had a little off track and a slowdown, I think, and then lap traffic kind of blew it for him. Yeah, no, it was overall a good race. Felt solid, just locked in, and was clocking consistent lap times and brought it home.
Yeah, that you were. And it looks like, as we look down the rest of the season, we only have 2 races to go. We got VIR and we have Watkins Glen. I'm really excited. It's funny, Blake, because, we know VIR it might be something that a lot of drivers have not run. I'm really more excited to see Glen because everybody runs Glen, so it's going to be really exciting to see what the speeds are there. But walk me through the next 2 tracks. You've got 7 wins on the season. How comfortable do you feel with these next 2 tracks coming up?
Oh, yeah. No, I feel good about them. VIR, I've raced quite a bit. And obviously, yeah, like you said, everybody runs Watkins Glen. So definitely comfortable there. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good. My dad's picking up the pace. He's putting some pressure on me. So, yeah, VIR is going to be a lot of fun. We like that track. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's good. And we can't wait to see you all run it. Again, we kind of previewed some stuff that was going to happen in season 2, but we still have 2 more races to go in this one, and we have to crown a champion. I do believe you could probably start and park, or maybe not even show up these next 2. I'll have to do the calculations, but 7 wins so far on the season, man. Fantastic job yet again tonight, really setting the pace and giving these drivers something to shoot for. So we'll turn it over to you, Blake, and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Love these broadcasts. I'm looking forward to watching this back. This will be a fun one. Yeah, shout out to Cody for putting on the league. Looking forward to season 2. Hopefully get up in that LMP2 class and have some competition there. And yeah, shout out to the family watching. Thank you guys. Love you. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, they were always in there cheering you and Mark on. I can promise you every single week we hear from Kathy and Caroline. So congratulations on yet another win. And hopefully we'll be back here in the booth talking to you again next week.
Awesome. Appreciate it, John.
Yes,
have
sir.
a good night.
Thanks, Blake. And there you have it, folks. There is your winner here for Road Atlanta tonight. And we cannot bring you the final stats that's going to pop up here on your screen, but what I can do for you for sure is give you a rundown, and that's going to be your winner here. As you can see him on the screen, that is Blake Scott, your winner again tonight, picking up his 7th win of the season. Mark Scott is going to be in 2nd. Wade Moskowitz is in 3rd. Josh Perrin is going to wind up in 4th with Cody in 5th. Miles is going to be in 6th, Trevor in 7th, Noah Zimmerman in 8th, Leroy Koblenz with a great top 10 finish here in 9th, Daniel Sheffer in 10th, Jeff Perchowski in 11th, Rory Stump is going to be in 12th, Manuel is going to be in 13th, Angel in 14th, and Bob Carroll is going to round out your field here in 15th. Again, we do certainly apologize for the SDK tonight, and not certain what happens, but we will get this thing fixed. We will be ready to go by next week, where we are going to go to VIR. Just 2 races to go here in the All-American Racing Series for Season 1, and we will crown a champion here at Watkins Glen. So make sure that you tune in, same time, same channel, same place next week. Thank you all.